Hello, everyone. My name is John Carlos Ciabella, and today I'm going to present to you my assessment 3 in BUSM 2562. So as you can see in the first slide, this is the consumer and the producer surplus. So I have shown two graphs here about the consumer and producer surplus. So when a consumption tax is imposed on a good or service, it increases the price paid by consumers and reduces price received by the producers. This leads to several effects on consumer and producer welfare. Firstly, let's take a look at the graph below. The increase in price reduces consumer surplus as consumers have to pay more for the same quantity of the goods or services. The reduction in consumer surplus is represented by the decrease in the area. It is below the demand curve and above the new higher price. Consumer worse off because they have to spend more money to purchase the same quantity of the taxed good or service. And on the above shown graph, the decrease in the price received by producer reduces producer surplus as they receive less profit for each unit sold. The reduction in producer surplus is represented by the decrease in the area, which is located above the supply curve and below the price. Additionally, the introduction of a consumption tax creates a deadweight loss, and which represents the loss of overall welfare in the market. It occurs because the tax distorts consumer and producer behavior, leading to a reduction in the quantity traded in the market. You can see in the two graphs shown here in the slide, this is the deadweight loss for both consumer and producer surplus. So let's go on the other slide. So here, I'm going to talk about the demand and supply. So let's say when a tariff is imposed on imports, it increases the cost of imported goods for domestic consumers. And this leads to decrease in the quantity demanded and an upward on the shape of the demand domestic supply curve. In a demand supply diagram, the initial equilibrium price and quantity are determined by the intersection of the demand and the supply curves in the absence of tax. However, when the tax imports or the tariffs, the cost of imported goods will increases, causing a decrease in the quantity demanded, and this decrease in the quantity demanded, and it is represented by a movement along the demand curve to a lower quantity. So as a summary, so when a tariff is imposed on imports, it increases the cost of imported goods for domestic consumers. And this will lead to the decrease in the quantity demanded and the shape of the domestic supply curve. So regarding the question 1 about the deadweight loss, it is associated with the imposition of a tariff on imports. It represents the loss of economic efficiency caused by the distortion in the market. The deadweight loss in this context refers to the reduction in total surplus, which includes both consumer and producer surplus. So regarding the question 2, the deadweight loss is related to the consumption taxes, and it also represents the loss of economic efficiency causing the decrease in aggregate demand and aggregate supply. So when consumption taxes such as the VAT or the value added tax, which is common for all kind of businesses, it increased the cost of goods and services for consumers, leading to the decrease in the consumption. So let's go on the other part of the slides. So this is the ADAS model. So consumption taxes such as value added tax, it impact both aggregate demand and aggregate supply. These taxes decreases consumers' purchasing power, leading to a decrease in the consumption expenditure and the leftward shift on the AD curve. As you can see in the graph, there is a shape on the demand curve to the left. So in these results, it increases the real GDP, and it will lower the price level. So this shift in the AS curve indicates a decrease in real GDP and an increase in the price level. Overall, consumption taxes have a contractionary effect on both aggregate demand and aggregate supply, and this will reduce economic output and it will eventually increase its prices. So let's go on the other slides. So this is also the ADAS model. A tax that improves people's health can have a positive long-term effect on both aggregate demand and aggregate supply. You want to know why? Because healthier individuals will be more productive. And if individuals are more productive, this will lead to an increase in the consumption and in the investment. And this will boost the aggregate demand. So healthier individuals will contribute to increase in the labor supply. And this will raise the potential output and reduce inflationary pressures. Thus, it positively impact the aggregate supply. And these effects can result in increased productivity and higher incomes. And also, it will reduce unemployment, increase potential output, and improve the economic performance. Overall, a tax on people's health has the potential to generate long-term economic benefits. So, so I'm going to the last part of the slide. As you can see, this is the direct really graph. So it reduces consumer spending. A fat tax increases the price of unhealthy foods and can lead to a decrease in consumer spending. As a result, people may choose to purchase fewer tax items or cheaper alternatives. This will lead to a decline in overall consumption. This reduction in consumer spending can have a negative impact on businesses and economic growth. And the negative, and also this fat tax have a negative effect on the economic growth, such as the impact on businesses. Industries that produce and sell unhealthy foods may experience a decline in demand and sales, and this is due to fat tax. And this can lead to reduced job losses and potentially even business closures. And the negative impact on these industries can have effects throughout the economy, affecting suppliers, distributors, and other related sectors. So it also encouraging healthier choices by increasing the price of an unhealthy food. A fat tax aims to discourage their consumption and increase individuals. That's why it's have a positive effect on the health. And this can lead to a reduction in the intake of high fat and unhealthy foods, which are often associated with various health issues or diseases such as diabetes, what else? Obesity, and heart disease. There's also a lot of various diseases. And also, this reduces healthcare costs. And by discouraging the consumption of unhealthy foods, a fat tax can potentially lead to a decrease in the obesity, especially now that we are eating a lot types of food, which will decrease also in the obesity rates and related health issues. This in turn can reduce the burden on healthcare system and lower healthcare costs associated with treating obesity related diseases. So this also has a positive effect on the economic growth because when individuals are in good health, what are they going to do? So they will be more likely to be productive in their work. So good health allows people to have higher energy levels, better cognitive function, and reduce their absenteeism. And this increased productivity will lead to a higher output and economic growth. So that's all. I hope you like my work. Thank you for listening, and I hope to see you again. Thank you.